The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All righty, here we go. We've got just a couple minutes. Good afternoon, everyone. I see we've got lots of people coming on the line. If anybody wants to tell us where they're from, and if anybody's got any questions ahead of time they want to sneak in, there's a Q&A panel there on your control panel. So please feel free at any time during the webinar to add your questions, and Judy will try to get to as many as possible. Judy, how you doing today? We got about 1 minute till we start.
I am doing great, Julie. How about you?
I'm good. Where are you in the world today? Our world traveling friend.
I'm in Kentucky today.
All right. Well, that's nice. Let's say you've been in Turkey. You've been a little bit of everywhere.
A little bit everywhere. Yeah, it's kind of nice to be back home for a while here.
I bet.
Yeah.
And hello, everybody. We still got a bunch of people coming in, so we'll wait just an extra minute before we get started. I'm excited about today's topic. This is a new one for us, so I think everybody's going to really enjoy it.
Oh, I think so too.
I think it's great for brokers, it's great for agents, and it's definitely great to take back to offices and share.
Mm-hmm. What I really like about today's topic, Julie, is that it is a very new. Well, it's a what do you call that when you kind of come back and bring something back? What's the word?
Like retro,
Yeah, well, it's kind of like it's something that's been around for a long time, but now it's really coming back in a big way, but in a lot of different formats. So
right.
so much information out there on this, and as I'm presenting these options to brokers, brokers are just loving it. So it's something brokers have never really thought about. So yeah, it should be a really fun topic today, and something brand new for our brokers, and something that agents need to be aware of as well.
I love it. Well, welcome everybody. We've hit the 1 o'clock mark. My name is Julie Escobar, and I am here today with our real estate coach, Judy LaDeur. Welcome, Judy.
Thank you, Julie.
As we were just saying, we're really excited about today's topic, and I can see by our attendance level that it's an interesting topic to everybody else too. So we're excited that everybody's here. Welcome. I will say again, there's a little question section on your control panel there. If at any time you have questions for Judy, feel free to write those in there, and we'll get to as many as possible. We'll try and take them throughout, and definitely at the end we'll try and manage as many as possible as well. On that note, welcome everybody. Welcome Judy. And Judy, I'm going to let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Julie, and thank you for being on the call today. So today's call is for agents and brokers. And if you're a broker, we want you to take the agent information back to your office if your agents are not on this call. Now, again, just as a reminder, these calls each month, sometimes we have a separate call for brokers and a separate call for agents. And then sometimes when the information is very interchangeable, we just combine it into one call like we're doing this month. Every month you should invite your agents to be on the call if it pertains to them. And this month is definitely one of those months. So the question that we posed was, what do pre-list books and broker success books have in common? Well, basically they both set it up and they both knock them out. So what do they set up? They set up that presentation. For brokers, it's going to be setting up that interview. For agents, it's going to be setting up that presentation with the sellers. And who are we knocking out? We're just knocking out the competition.
I like it.
We knock them out, right. There's been some studies done in the last year. I was actually trying, I did locate a couple of studies I'm going to show you guys today, but there was a study done of top producing agents in January of 2017, and when they asked them what the number one thing was that contributed to their success and knocked out the competition, it was actually having a pre-listing kit, book, appointment, that whole pre-list thing. Now, as I said, pre-list kits or pre-list appointments have been around for a really long time, but now what we're seeing is a completely different spin on them. So I think you'll really enjoy today's spin. And I just read a testimonial of an agent who tripled their income in 1 year just by using this technique. So wow. It's pretty exciting. So here's the first thing. You have to make it impressive. I know a lot of you have a pre-list checklist, pre-list kit, pre-list, thing that you've put together. A lot of the real estate organizations have put together a basic pre-list kit for you to use. And I guess, that's better than nothing. But quite honestly, what we're talking about today is not just that standard stuff. And it doesn't look dry, and it doesn't look boring, and it's not just a bunch of words, but it's going to be really impressive. And I want you to think in terms of something that when it arrives and you open it up, you're just like, wow. I mean, a great example is if any of you have the American Express Platinum card, it arrives via UPS, you open up a box, it's all tissue wrapped, like, they spend a fortune on the box, and, you get all the way down there and then you pull out the card, but it's always it's like this whole thing to pull it out, and it's so impressive. You just feel like you should keep the box, right?
Right. Well, it does make you feel like a VIP, right?
I know, it's just like, wow, look at this, look what I got. And that's really what you want. That's the kind of impression that you want to make. And you also want to give it a special name. So we don't want to be using names like pre-list kit, broker success book. We don't want to use things that everyone else is using, because that's just like everybody else's. Last month, we talked about giving your different tools and resources special names. Hopefully by now you guys have taken on that project, got that done. You've created a lot of special names, which you can use in your pre-list book or your broker success book. Mm-hmm. But here's a great example. As an agent, it sounds so much better to have a book arrive that says preparing for a successful home sale with a full-size lifestyle photo of you on the front. We'll be talking about lifestyle photos here today. And so that might be a nice, catchy name. If you're a broker, you could call it taking your career to the next level. So in both cases, the name should basically be what it's designed to do. So if you're, again, you could have a buyer one actually, that you give a really catchy name to. So,
sure.
So play around with the names, but make it catchy. Make it something that's going to be unique and special to you. Here's where it gets even cooler. Is you're going to create it, deliver it in a high-tech, first-class way that really gets their attention. And you should also send an email. So if you're having this mailed, so some people are having it mailed, some are having it dropped off, couriered, and some agents drop it off themselves. But if you're having it couriered or someone else is dropping it off, then send that little email that arrives that says, today you'll be receiving our kit on preparing for a successful home sale. This is something that I always present homeowners with a few days before we get together. This is going to give you an idea of what's going to happen. And make it a video message. So they'll see your face, and it's like, so I'm looking forward to seeing you in a few days. Have fun with the looking through the information, and I'll answer any questions that you may have at that time. So here's the cool thing, is you create it on an iPad, and you deliver it to their home in a really cool, classy, customized box. Now, you're going to get it back, but you might have to create 2 or 3, because you might have several appointments in a week. And I guess occasionally you might lose one, that's the way it is, but usually you shouldn't. The agents that are using it on their iPads say that it's great, and they definitely do get them back, so you just got a few of them. And or if you don't want to do the digital iPad delivered to their home, then you could do something that's really beautifully designed with that lifestyle look about it. Nice hardcover book. But the thing about a hardcover book is that, you get a better price when you make a bunch of them up, but they are going to constantly have to be updated. You might, every 6 or 9 months, you're going to have to sometimes change that information out. A little bit easier to update those digital files, but either one will work. So they're both beautiful. And you can also, I've had a lot of brokers say, can we do a digital file? Can you just make the whole thing digital? Well, you can. I'd rather use the digital as a follow-up, because here's why. If I send them something digitally and they decide to list with someone else, or that agent decides to cancel that appointment because they've just, they're going to go somewhere else, there's nothing that they have to bring back to me. But if I send them something and then I say, please bring the, bring the iPad in when you come, we're going to be, going through all that information, answering questions you have. And I will give you, I'll actually be giving you a digital file, the exact book on a digital file after our appointment. Same thing with the seller. So now, if it's, who's getting who for the right agent or the right seller, if they said, well, can I keep it? I'd probably just say, sure. But we have to get together first. So, and you have to join. But, so that's what, so first off, so here's your first thing. It's not just a pre-list kit. It's not just a success book or something, you know, pack of information you're sending out. It is going to be take your career to the next level or preparing for a successful home sale. Make it a really cool presentation, okay? Why are pre-list books, we'll call them pre-list books for now, and broker success books just for training purposes, why are they making such a big difference? I think there's a lot of competition out there, but agents, top agents who say it's made a huge impact on their business, say that ideally it does a lot of things. It first tells the seller why they're going to be meeting with you, so it kind of pre-sells them. When a seller calls an agent up and they don't really know anything about that agent, sometimes maybe a more impressive, like an impressive agent comes in before you, and they think, wow, I like this agent. I'm just going to go with that agent and not go with you, you know, because I don't know who that person is. Well, if they get something in advance and everything that they're seeing says, wow, this agent's really got their act together, this is going to be really great, then even if there is somebody else ahead of you, they're more likely to wait so that they can see what you have to offer too, because they're impressed right up front.
Right.
I think the best thing that I've always said for a pre-listing, your pre-list presentation, that agents, the number one thing for agents really is that it's the best way to showcase your testimonials and your ratings as an agent. We have become a rating society. You're going to see some studies that I'm going to show you here, and you know, consumers, most consumers are working with people that are recommended to them, or they're going to check their ratings. They're going to see, you know, what other people think about them.
Right. Read the reviews.
Yeah. And Julie, you know, we've both been agents, so, you know, it's, you know what this is like too. I had a ton of letters from my clients who would give me recommendations and testimonials, and they would talk about how wonderful I was and what a great job I did. But for me to sit there in front of homeowners and like lay them out one at a time and say, oh, here's Bob and Joe.
Right. It's not comfortable.
Yeah. It's I don't know, it's a little awkward. So what happens is agents will have those testimonial letters I found, but when they get to that point of their presentation, they're kind of doing this, and I got like a bunch of testimonials, lots of clients that like me, and they're just like zooming through them really quickly. But we now know that today's market, it's the number one thing that a client looks for. So if that's the case, and we know that agents are going to feel awkward sitting there talking about how wonderful they are, then why not put those testimonials in front of that seller or that agent in advance so they can read them through, because they're really important, and see what their needs are. It's also a great way to tease them about services that only you provide. So again, last month we named your services, and if you've named your services, that means that everything that you have is going to sound very unique to them. No one else is going to present it because you made up that name for your service. But you tease them in such ways, such as you know, the three of the things that we'll be going through when I meet, you know, with you is my 21-step, you know, my 21-step process to expose your home to 105 different platforms, allowing you to gain a higher sales price in less marketing time. The second thing that we're going to go through is my 36-step, you know, marketing plan for your property. There is actually, NAR just did a study, and I would use this on for sell by owner ones for sure, and even with the sellers, 184 things that your realtor does for you from start to finish on each property. And I went through the checklist. I just read through it yesterday. We could put that checklist on our site, by the way, for Julie, I think. But the yeah, so but you know, just think about it. You know, there's 184 things that I'm going to be doing for you. I'm going to give you that checklist when we meet. Well, most people are like, wow, 184 things really shows your value as an agent. But for sell by owner, and there's not a lot of them out there right now. Statistically speaking, we have less for sell by owners now than we've ever had in history. But if they are out there, or someone who's thinking, I don't really need a full service realtor. In today's market, we have a lot of agents competing with that. It's a great way to show them what full service realtors actually do.
I love it.
And as I said earlier, it just ensures that you get in the door if you're not the first agent in. And NAR studies show that most sellers actually in today's market are only meeting with one agent. Some are meeting with two. And so we're going to show you that study. For brokers, okay, once again, this tool is going to do the exact same thing for you as it does for agents. It's going to pre-sell the agent on why agents join your firm. which means, of course, that you want to showcase your testimonials and your results. What happens when an agent joins your firm? So you're going to give real life examples in there. Here's Mary Lou, who joined us, 2 years ago, and here's where production was here, and here's where it is now. Here's a testimonial from Bob, who says, da 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 da. John's been with, 4 real estate firms in his first 2 years in the business, and once he joined us, he realized that this is where he was going to be for life. John's been with us for 5 years now. So whatever it is.
I want to jump in there too, because we talk about that when we talk about your unique selling propositions as brokers. If you can get a testimonial for each one, like if training is a big key for you, if you can get, if one of your agents says, the key for me here is, the training is exceptional and it's the top in our area, or the mentor program, or whatever, all those things that make your compelling reasons, you should have a matching testimonial for each one of them. Right.
So what that means is you're not really, and I think the teasing part's next, here it is, you're not really telling them about your tools and systems. You tease them because you say, some of the things that set me apart, some of the things that we offer here at our firm that other companies in the area do not offer would be, this, this, and this. And as you can see, it makes a huge difference in the agent's business. So you can put those results next to them, put little things there, but we're going to be talking about this when we get together. So the tease is put something out there that they really want to hear. So if it's a seller, what do they really want? If it's an agent, what are they going to want to know?
Are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, good. So it just makes them more likely to show up for that appointment, because as brokers know, sometimes agents cancel. But the more curious they are about what they have to offer, the more likely they are to show up for that appointment. They, of course, as I said before, they have to meet with you to return that iPad or book. So you can send an email with a video message, just tell them, don't forget to bring the book back when we get together, and but we will give you that digital file afterwards. So there's a little bit of an obligation on their part to think, oh, geez, I got to take this thing back. So even if they're thinking about canceling, or even with the seller, it's like, oh, geez, so like we got their iPad, so we should probably meet with them. But here's why agents and brokers should really do it, because your competition is not going to be doing it in this manner. And again, I want to encourage, especially agents, most brokers, this is a totally new concept for brokers. And it's something that earlier this year, I just started, thinking, are there any other things that agents are doing that we could transfer into the world of brokers and recruiting? Because everything, that we do transfers over, so everything that I teach brokers is basically from an agent world with a broker spin on it. And when I started seeing all the articles and the studies on how top producers are going back and taking advantage of that pre-list appointment, getting that pre-list information in front of them, using the opportunity to pre-sell them so that they ensure that they get in the door and they can get that listing, it just suddenly occurred to me that that's a tool that we have never encouraged brokers to use. So the brokers that we've been talking to this year absolutely love the idea. I think it's great. Bottom line is, it is proof of your credibility and the results others have had. And here's why I put that here for both agents and brokers. We tell the truth when we meet with people. I think most of us do anyways. But we are in a sales position. So if you're in front of a seller who doesn't really know you, and you're just telling them about your results, you're just telling them about the success, there are some sellers out there that will think, well, maybe, maybe not. But when it's in writing, it offers more credibility. The same thing as a broker. I mean, if the information that you're putting there that says this agent did this and the agent works in their office and it's very easily verifiable, then it's more likely to believe. But I think the most important thing is, as you'll see here in 2 slides I'm going to show you, is that it does give everyone the opportunity to check you out in advance, which is just like checking your ratings. And think about that. I mean, we are a ratings society, right? Now, 2 studies. One is just by Harvard. It was just done this year, a business study that just deals with sales agents in general, as well as referrals that they get. Look at this. Now, this is all sales. So this goes even beyond home buying. Okay, now what's been explained to me is that the millennials, our younger generation, the newest one is Gen Z, I think, is our newest, the lowest group of home buyers coming in. But everybody that's 40 and under for sure, they don't buy anything without checking the ratings.
No.
They don't, nothing. And so it just stands to reason that when they go to buy something, they are either asking someone else what their experience has been, or again, they're obviously looking at the ratings. 9 out of 10 buying decisions by buyers are made with peer recommendations. So think about that. That just really kind of tells you the mindset of the people out there that are buying stuff. 92% of buyers say that they trust referrals from people that they know. So that whole 9 out of 10 people looking at, like thinking, I'm not gonna buy anything unless I've asked somebody that I trust first. And after a positive experience, 83% of customers said they would have been happy to provide a referral. But salespeople aren't asking. Only 29% of customers asked for a referral because the others were not asked. Okay, and so there's a big gap there. 47% of top performers ask for referrals consistently, but only 26% of non-performers. So right there, if you're an agent and you just start getting that recommendation, asking every client for that referral after a successful transaction, that's going to put you on track to increase your income, just because you're going to have those referrals. So you'd be more likely.
I think we need to do a webinar just on how to ask for referrals for brokers and agents in the future, because I know that's a sticking point for a lot of them. How do we ask, how do you comfortably ask?
It is. So, and we can do that next month, Julie, because I've got like the 4 questions that agent can ask. There's 3 different ways that they can get those referrals. Same thing with brokers. It's hard for everyone, but yes, there's definitely ways to do that. And even only 47% of top performers. Now, this was this year's home buyer home seller study. I know that most of our brokers out there subscribe to the NAR studies. I mean, each report's about $150. I get them every year because there's so much valuable information in there as far as our industry and where trends that are, on the horizon and things that are going out the door. When you have those studies, share the information. Pull out the nuggets and share it with your agents, because there's tons of great stuff in there. So here's this year's with regard to buyers. 42% of buyers found their agent through a referral. Okay, it's almost 50% of buyers on a referral. Only 12% used their previous agent.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah. Now think about that. That just means that their previous agent did not do a good job. And 70% only met with one agent before buying a house. And so right there, if they're comfortable, they're finding that person through referral, they're actually sticking with that agent. Okay, they're not jumping around a lot. Look at sellers. 64% of sellers found their agent by referral, and 74% only met with one agent before choosing their agent. So that's what I was saying before, is that more and more, because we've become a referral-based society, if a seller asks somebody, who should I be talking to, they might set up 3 appointments, but if one is referred and they're comfortable with that person, the majority of sellers are just going with that person. If I'm, so if I don't have that referral that's attached to me, maybe I work the neighborhood, it's my farm area, I definitely want to be able to make sure that I get in front of them. So that's where putting my book in front of them to pre-sell what's going to happen when they meet with me is more likely to result in that appointment. Same thing with brokers, okay? So with brokers, just thought I'd kind of share that with you. That is the society that we've come to. What goes in it? People are like, what do I put in it? Well, if you're a broker, you always have to address the what's in it for me, okay? And that's what they're always thinking. So nothing should go in there that doesn't speak to that agent with regard to what's it going to do for their business or their career. So once again, your success stories of agents who have joined and their results, what sets you apart from other companies, your success as a broker. See, that's another area for brokers. I see that brokers a lot of times zip through their graphs and their stats, and it's a lot of stuff, and it can get boring. It is boring to talk about that for long. And you lose them, you can feel it, so you just kind of zip through all that stuff. But the reality is it's really important. So if it's in front of them, and then at the same time agents are saying, when we use these graphs on a listing presentation, It's so much easier for us to secure a listing. Or, wow, you know, our agents outsell the competition 2-to-1 or 3-to-1, and that's based on MLS statistics here. Right away, you know, it kind of poses the question, why do our agents outsell the competition 3-to-1? That's what we'll be talking about when we get together. So there's your tease right there.
Mm-hmm.
Since a lot of agents are social, I would put some social events in there, award ceremonies, and obviously any tools that you have, put the results from the tools with the testimonies about those tools in there. Don't talk about the tool. Again, the whole thing is designed to position something that's like coming attractions. You could actually call your book Coming Attractions, actually. That would be kind of cute.
I like it.
Wouldn't it, like Coming Attractions? If I was an agent, you could put a movie screen on there and, you know, you have your photo on there, or a broker with agent Coming Attractions.
I just love that all of this is so visual too, because so many, you know, so many agents are emotional, right? Buyers, and so are our home buyers and sellers, you know, so that visuals just, I think they add authority. I think they add credibility. So I love this is so visually inclined.
Yeah, and, you know, and the iPad, of course, has the music with it too. And on the iPad, when you do your iPad, you put your video right there on the front of it. So that video stays, you know, it's a message to any agent that you're talking to or any seller that you're talking to. It's alive. You've got music. You can build drama. So you're right. You know, they touch it, they feel it, they see it, they listen to it. It arrives in a really cool manner. And, you know, a lot of agents out there will also box it up in a basket with some cheese and wine and crackers and stuff like that too, so that they arrive and it's just like, you know, when you have a few minutes, sit down, get a little, you know, get some crackers, cheese, and a glass of wine and look at, you know, Coming Attractions. Now, I always say that if you're going to do that, make sure that you know that some people don't drink, so sparkling water would be better for them. If you know that person likes wine, well, then you could do wine. Now, if this is a beer drinker, well, maybe you put a 6-pack in there and a basket box and you deliver it and say, hey, you know, have a cold one on me. Just something that'll instantly grab their attention that says, gosh, like, no one's ever done this before. That's what you want to do as an agent or as a broker. And agents are just killing it with this.
You know, I know an agent that did exactly what we're talking about here. She was new to a market area, but was new to real estate, but also new to a market area, but she had a marketing background. So her pre-listing packages, it was a no-brainer because she already presented herself as doing more work than, you know, ahead of time than, right, you know, many agents present even in their listing presentation. So it really was formidable, you know, in terms of moving her ahead in the market, right out of the chute, right as a new agent. So I thought that was really clever.
Nice, cool. Yeah, as I said, I think if you start paying attention as brokers, if you look around and you talk to your top agents, you're going to see that they have these kits put together. And I'm encouraging agents, this might be on here as well, but you know, again, I don't want it to look like everyone else's. Okay, pre-list kits are very easy to get. You can get, you know, and I looked at some of them that are quite honestly being offered by some of the companies out there, and I was not impressed at all with it. I mean, it's just boring and dull, and I'd be throwing it in the floor within minutes. I would, yeah. And I think most
you
agents
definitely want to step it up. I mean, there's a lot of templates out there, but you're going to want to use, you know, beautiful photography and, I mean, just really get out there.
Yeah, so exactly. There's so many things at your disposal to make it really impressive, especially branding. So if I'm an agent and I've invested in branding, then this kit is also going to be branded to look like me. And the whole look should be pretty high, you know, a very high level look. For agents, you know, your bio is going to be in there talking about you, your background, what makes you the right agent for their home. Obviously, as I said, your testimonials, ratings, unique services. I think that you can even put samples of listings and sales agreements. A lot of agents said that they do it just to help the consumer kind of get through that fear of, oh, this is the contract that we're going to have to sign. But, you know, they got to sign it anyway, so why not give it to them in advance? if they want to read it, I'd rather have them read it in their home over a cup of coffee than reading it while I have to sit there and wait for them to read it, especially these days when they're like 8 pages long. If your success is better than the industry average, whether it's locally or nationally, whatever it's going to be, I would definitely put that in there. Same thing with company stats. A lot of agents just kind of zip through this, but it's important that you are with the right company to get that property sold. So I think that should be in there. Market conditions. And this last one here was the number one thing on a survey done on what buyers want to know when they are, or what sellers want to know. Sorry, this was through the 2017 NAR study. What sellers want to know, and it's so funny because the number one thing was they want to know how buyers look for homes, evaluate homes, and select homes in today's market. And you know, when I saw that, and even the statement about that said, like, it was such a surprise that would be the number one thing that home sellers are asking for today. But that's how the market's changed.
Yep, exactly.
If you haven't sold a house in 10 years, I can imagine that they would just be thinking, geez, I mean, how's it even work these days? And do they even do open houses anymore? How do they get those buyers from the web anyways? And, and so there's so many models out there, so many different new things that just that simple thing in your kit, if you're an agent that says, I'm going to, educate you. There's, today's market, buyers find homes differently. They evaluate them differently and they select them differently. And so one of the things that I'm going to show you is how that takes place today and how I'm going to use that information to get your home sold. So again, if it's the number one thing they want to know, I'm definitely going to tease them with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Julie, you and I were talking about this earlier today. I love this one. This is one of my favorite ones.
I know.
Okay, everybody, if you haven't heard yet, lifestyle photos are the new rage. This is in. Every broker, every agent needs to hire a photographer and take some lifestyle photos and change out all of your photos in your marketing and your website and stuff. It all needs to switch to lifestyle photo. And I've noticed that a lot of the top agents were switching their photos over. I saw Julie, we featured an agent earlier this year, and I saw her photo and I was like, oh, look at it. It looks so summery and breezy, and her hair's kind of flowing, and nice little summer dress on, and there's flowers in the background, and it's outside, and it's not your typical business look. And that's when I learned that a lifestyle photo is designed to show you as a real person in your environment, in your element, approachable, whether you're going to be the agent they're going to work with or the broker that they're going to work with. And when we found this photo, I said, I mean, look at that. She's carrying, like a purse, but purse, briefcase, whatever. She looks approachable, confident, walking through the hallway. I mean, it could be the office right there, could be a home that she sold, could be, anything.
Yep.
But if you look there and it's like, this agent is going to be the one coming over to list your house. Are you impressed? Okay. Or here's
the you want to work with. Exactly. But I think it also elevates, it's taking it from that old realtor feel, photograph to something that's more alive and vibrant and high end, quite frankly. So
very high end, right? So that's the key. It has to be done really, really high end. And that high end look is what you want to carry over into all of your marketing stuff. And we talked about this a couple of months ago. We talked about marketing. So carry that high end over on your kits, your books, but go with the lifestyle photo. Here's another one. Okay, so we got a few of them here for you. And here's a guy that just called, he's sitting there on the steps called, this is me. This is who's coming over, or I'm going to be your broker. Lifestyle photos are very approachable. They're very real life. Look at this one. I love that one.
I know, I do too.
Okay, great. You're just very relaxed, just sitting there. If I got that as a seller, this is her, her photograph's on the front of her book. It says, looking forward to meeting with you. I'd just be like, she looks so cool. She looks successful, but she looks friendly. She looks relaxed. She looks like I could talk to her really easily. And that's really what you're looking for. It's that very approachable, real life look. As a broker, I would just think, wow, she just looks like the coolest broker. Like, even before I've met her.
Exactly.
Yeah. Great job picking those pictures out, Julie. My behind the scenes girl, she does everything for me. Uh, Leonardo da Vinci has a quote that says, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication." And I thought about this quote mostly because of a lot of the pre-list kits that I saw. So I did go on and look at, again, a lot of kits provided by a lot of different real estate firms to agents saying, here's your kit, here's your checklist, here's your information, send it out. And it was tons and tons of writing and tons of detail and not a lot of photographs. Just, again, just too much. Your pre-list kit, your broker success book, your lifestyle video, all of it, your lifestyle photos, keep it simple. And again, our 40s and under audience, it's all about minimalist, simplicity. Everything is about simplicity. So it just makes sense that your books have to be that same way, and that your photograph is the same way. It's very real life. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
I agree. I think in my head, it's to make it make sense to a lot of listeners too, is to think about those, the magazines, the lifestyle magazines. There's a lot of
Right.
white space. There's a lot of, it is more simplistic, but it's beautiful. It's artsy. It's, that kind. So think about that kind of a presentation.
Right. Because again, it draws you in. There's a focal point. So there might be a lot of white space, and then there's one beautiful photograph and 20 words on the page that are, big or different sizes, and it just pulls you right into that thing that you're looking to accomplish, or that message you're trying to get across. That's what we want your books to look like. Very, very simple, grab their attention. You're not using them to educate them. We're going to tell them the information when we see them in person. If we put too much information in there, it eliminates.
Talk to you.
Like that. So you only want to tease and create such an impression that they want to meet with you. And just imagine, again, an agent receiving something from you that is so elegant, so simple, so attractive, so enticing, that they're just like, wow, I cannot wait to meet the broker. Well, if that's the impression before they even get there, your job's halfway done before you even begin talking.
I agree.
Now, at our event, we had our 3-day event where we trained recruiters and brokers a couple weeks ago here in Geneva, and I'm pretty sure it was Keith, but or April. So one of those two, I think, told the group about boxbrownie.com. And
I love it.
I'd never heard of Box Brownie.
It's very cool.
And, because the brownie was the camera years ago. So Box Brownie, and it's all about photo enhancements, virtual staging. In fact, I'm probably, actually, I think it was April, but she had a beautiful presentation that she's been working on over the last couple of years, and because she initially went through training a couple of years ago. So now everything is in its finished condition, and everything that she's using is very first class, and she's doing an awesome job out there. Well, I think that was it. But when we looked at those photographs, it was just like, wow, like who took the photographs? And wow, that looks great. Well, it's easy to be an expert when you can use Box Brownie. So I went on it to take a look at it. Really cool. Did you have a chance to look at it too, Julie?
I have looked at it. I think it's a great site. It's a really cool app.
Yeah. So if you're just thinking that, hey, you know what, you don't have to be a great photographer, but you do need a great resource to make it look good.
Mm-hmm.
Julie is available. We've shared that with you in the past. Julie does a lot of work for agents, brokers, speakers. She does a lot of marketing behind the scenes, puts together stuff, so Julie also, if you're saying, wow, I want that book, I can give somebody a lot of stuff, but I need someone to just put it together for me. Okay, Julie is very qualified at doing that. And Julie, just, why don't you just say a little bit about some of the services that you offer for brokers? I'd love that, and agents as well.
One of the things that I do for quite a few brokers and agents is to take the tools that they already have in the system, in the profitable recruiter and profitable sales agent system, and help them utilize it. It can be overwhelming sometimes. Oh, okay, well, I know I've got to send those emails out every month or every week. I know I have to send those lumpy letters out, that kind of thing. So, but they don't have the staff, time, energy, effort, availability to do that. So they just kind of like the idea of turning that all over to somebody. So those things are things that we can make happen.
Right.
And we've got all kinds of people on the scene that we can, if you need editing, if you need, any of those services, we can make that all happen for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Because we should all do what we do best. All
right.
Right. That's really the key. You shouldn't be doing it all.
Just making sure that nothing falls through the cracks. We can't do it all. I laughed yesterday. I was telling a friend, there's no way I can't write everything down now because you can only remember so much. Your bandwidth is only so much, especially in today's world where there's so much noise and so much going on all the time. In order to make sure that things don't fall in through the cracks, you have to put systems in place. And sometimes putting systems in place means putting the right people in the right seats to make sure that those things happen.
Right. Absolutely. I delegate everything.
You do. You're good at it.
You know that, don't you? Right?
Yeah.
Here's another thought. Something that I've been encouraging agents to do this year is don't just have one success book, okay? Have your one for listings, but have one for buyers too. If you work with a lot of buyers, again, deliver that book in advance to the buyer. If you work for sale by owners, that's where I would put in that for sale by owner book. That you could list out the 184 things that you do from start to finish and let that for sale by owner know that they're going to have to do 184 things. So it's like, wait, that's a lot of work, right? Expired listings, you can put together a book for that. So you're going to have a few copies of each one so that, again, you pick them up when you go there. But, make it, this is just, there's always good, better, best. So good is pre-list kits, things that are just provided to you by a third-party source or maybe by your company. Better is when you've customized it and you've just, really taken it up a notch. And the best is when you then customize it and you create several books so that you aren't trying to address every single client that you have with one book, but you're really just saying, because you are selling your house by owner, this book is for you. Okay, or because your house didn't sell, this is going to be for you. And right now, we don't have a lot of listings expiring unsold throughout the market. I know that. But you know what? Everyone in the country right now is talking about the fact that they can already feel the slowdown. Now, of course, I laugh because the slowdown simply means instead of the crazy fast speed that it is, it's just slowing down to a little bit of a normal market.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It could slow down even more. You never know. So, sometimes we have to be ready for that. Brokers, you guys, same thing, okay? Think about your target agents that you're going after. If it's existing agents, you can have one book for everyone, but why not have one for existing agents because they want different things than new ones do. Like a new agent book could focus in on a lot more of the training, coaching, direction, guidance that they get that first year, establishing that foundation. If you're hiring teams, a team book, how you support those teams, what you'll do to help them build their team, how you'll help them manage their team members, or whatever it is that you do. If you want to attract luxury agents, then I'd make the investment and have a luxury agent book. Or maybe, you have commercial real estate. So, like when you suddenly see it, you think about it, it just makes sense that we should be treating our business the same way that top producing agents are treating theirs. So,
well, again, I don't want brokers to feel overwhelmed at this point. Oh my gosh, I not only create one book, but I've got to create all these different books. You're just gonna switch some elements out. So it might be, one or two pages different, but what the difference that makes is that you're going back to the what's in it for me, that WIFFM, right? So if it's a new agent book, for example, it's speaking right to the heart of what a new agent is looking for, so it's really zoned into that what's in it for them, and talking about those benefits. If it's a luxury agent, it's really focused, and so everything in the book might be the same with the exception of 1 or 2 pages, right? So don't get overwhelmed and thinking, oh, now I got to create, 8 books from scratch or something like that. That's not what we're talking about here, but most of the elements are going to stay the same, but it would make sense to have a couple of pages that are dedicated to those specific niches, especially if that's, if that's really where your brand is going.
Absolutely. Very good point. And you kind of touched on it, but here's what I call, instead of the elephant in the room, it's got to be the elephant on the call, right? That thing that's looming. There's a lot of brokers out there right now, and some agents maybe, that are thinking, geez, this is going to cost money. But the reality is you have to make investments into your business if you want to attract the best listings, the best clients, the best agents. And when you take the investment from just one listing that you secure per year through using these books, okay, it would only take one extra listing a year to pay for everything, and you'd still have money left over. And same is true for a broker. I mean, look at the income that you generate from a recruit. And if you just say, okay, I'm going to take that income that is generated from one good recruit, and I'm going to make that my budget for doing a lot of things like this to really stay positioned and make such an impression that those agents want to be with me. Just take that from one agent. That's all you'll need for and you'll still have money left over.
Especially when we're talking about, we've been talking about the disruptors in the marketplace for the last month, and this is yet one more way to make yourself the disruptor, to not stress so much about, okay, what are these disruptors doing? How are they changing the face of real estate? How are they changing the face of our market? Well, you be the disruptor, and you can do that by differentiating yourself and really standing out.
And make them crazy. And which is what we're really talking about here, is that, whether you're a broker or an agent, if you want to be highly successful, you have to be bold. Okay, so you have to do things that are just like, whoa, kind of blow people away. You have to be tech savvy today. Whether you're an agent or a broker, you have to know what's happening in the world of technology, how it's being used. The study that was done this year shows that, like 87% of agents right now say that they want to be able to conduct the entire transaction from start to finish on their phone, their mobile phone.
Their phone, yeah.
Right. So you have to understand, which apps they need, what does what, and it's a lot. It's a lot coming at brokers, but you've got to be that tech savvy. You got to be different. Okay. If you're not different, if you just look like everybody else, then you're not going to really grow that much. The same thing is for agents. I gave a 4-hour training session in Turkey last month to sales agents over there. Their market is really tough over there right now. They've got our 2007 market going on in Turkey, where their market, their dollar dropped in half overnight. Their property values plummeted. They dropped in half overnight. Agents are really struggling. And, what we talked about was, when there's not a lot of business being done out there right now, you have to be the person that really stands out. And even though a lot of agents think about scaling back and doing less marketing or spending less money, there's an article that I read about that for agents in a market that's kind of a slower market, and every single top producer said that you can never come back on your marketing. You can never come back on the money that you make, because the slower the market, the more important it is.
The more you need the marketing, exactly.
Right, and you need to invest in your tools and invest in yourself. And what happens is, when all those other agents in the market and all the other brokers in the market start pulling back because they're like, oh, things are tightening up, the person who's still doing what they've always done is going to stand out even more. And I saw that in 2007, 2008 with a lot of brokers. Some of the brokers just suddenly retreated, and they were just trying to make ends meet and not spending any money. And then other brokers just stepped it up, and they said, okay, you know what, there's a lot of opportunities here right now. We need to attract
taking market share from the people that slow down is what happens.
It was a huge time of growth for brokers, and I think we're going to see that coming up here, in a few years. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for growth again. So you want to be that agent, that broker that everyone is talking about. You don't want to be like everybody else. You do want to be the disruptor in your market, and do what others are not willing to do to get the attention of those that you want. And that's a pretty powerful message for brokers or agents. Not everyone will do it. Statistically speaking, 90%, actually 92% of people who set off to do something, to accomplish a goal or a project, 92% give up before the finish line.
Well,
But
that's just sad.
It's sad, right? It is just sad, but it is the reality, right? And so everybody gets to choose. Are you going to be the one that crosses that finish line? Because it's not always going to be easy.
So I
You're
think
going
part
to
of that 8%. Stick
yeah,
to it.
right. Yeah, so do what no others aren't willing to do, and you will get what others wish they had. So
Exactly.
definitely attract the
Awesome
attention.
stuff. Awesome.
Yeah, so at this point, what questions do we have from our audience? We have any like hanging out there right now, Julie, or is anybody?
Don't. It's the quietest bunch we've seen in a while. I
Maybe
guess
they were
you're just so
taking notes
thorough.
time, right?
Well, we'd love to hear from everybody. Either jump in with a question here, or certainly you can email us at any time through the portal and through the website. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you want to talk about on upcoming webinars. I did kind of like that idea of talking about how to ask for referrals, and as well as how to close for the appointment. I think
Right.
that's important for a lot of people. I think that boldness, that bold move, I think is difficult for a lot of people. So I think we will be talking about that on some future events.
Sure.
Judy, great job today. Thank you so much on this important topic. And I love it. It's timely and new and really gives people a different spin on the whole idea of pre-selling. So I thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thank you for being on our call today. We really appreciate all of you. And thank you, Julie.
Thanks everybody for being here, and we will have this available up online probably within the next day or two. And I hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful October, and we're going to slide into the end of the year. I can't believe it's almost the end of October already. We'll talk to everybody soon. Take care and have a wonderful day.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.